All right, we are live, like I promised you, at 8 o'clock with something super special. This is definitely my first time doing a live interview. So I promised you guys that I have, and by the way, we're Skyping together as well, okay? We're going live with somebody very special. His name is Paul Tran of Dose and Remedy. And I'm going to, let's see, viewer, oh, here we go, let's go. He's requesting. Let's go live with. All right, hang on, guys, 1 second. Now, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to preface this conversation. Hey, Paul. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, which one? Oh my God, we can't do both of them. Well,
can we do it?
Well, that's a problem. Can you hear?
How about now?
Yeah, but the problem is now both of them are recording. Which one are we going to go with? All right.
We got one. As long as we don't have echo, I think.
All right. No, do you want to turn off the Skype?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I'm going to turn off Skype. It's okay.
Oh,
We'll do it this way.
Yeah.
Better off. Okay, guys. I'm going to introduce you to somebody, a friend of mine, on social media. Paul and I have never met before, by the way. We have never videotaped before, but I want to say it this way. Paul started a business from 0 to 7 figures in less than a year. Now, and not only that, Paul got on Shark Tank. The results are unknown right this minute because he's not allowed to talk about it. Not only that, Paul is going to be aired on November
19th.
19. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I think Skype is still recording me. Oh, let's turn this off. Okay.
All right.
So, but I want to, the reason we're having this interview is very, very important because I asked Paul a real simple question. Paul was lucky enough to go from not lucky enough. He worked his butt off or whatever, everything that he did. Paul, you got to give yourself a little more lights because you're a little dark.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more light in here.
Paul did certain things to get to where he got within a short period of time. So I asked Paul, non-selfishly, to have this dialogue so that whoever else is watching, whoever else gets to see this video, gets a takeaway to be encouraged that we, the community, is paying forward. We have done our part, and we're going to drag you into the future and make you successful or allow you to be successful because you're going to hear some of the things that we've done. Correct, Paul?
Correct.
Non-rehearsed. I have no idea how Paul got from 0 to 7 figures. I don't know 7 figures is 1 million, 10 million. I have no clue. It's really irrelevant. The whole point that I would like Paul and I to discuss today is the fact that Paul did certain things that I believe that I have done certain things that somebody else can do. If you're struggling in business, there are certain things you can do that have been done by many of us that are not, it's not brain surgery, but you got to hear it to know about it. Fair enough, Paul?
Yeah, exactly.
So our
There's a
job
formula
is to help the viewer figure out what we've figured out already.
Right.
Fair?
Yeah. There's a formula out there, and I think, when you first start, you don't know it. No one knows it, and you're just throwing things at the wall. I mean, I've tried everything. So, but once you kind of start getting the formula and start seeing success, then you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and it starts working. So,
and a lot of it is common sense.
A lot of it's common sense, but honestly, a lot of it is really focusing and listening to other people. So, I mean, one of the best things that I learned from you, and this is how we connected. I'm going to share with you guys how we connected.
I was going to ask, let me interrupt you, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
The first question is, how did we meet?
Yeah. So here's how we met. So I fell in love with TikTok maybe like last year. And I was doing videos and I was watching everyone's videos. I love it, right? I suck at making content on TikTok. But I came across your TikTok, and I remember it was one of your first videos where you were like, what does this H mean? And it was a Hermes belt. He's like, is this a brand? And then you're like, what is this Nike check thing? I don't know if you remember this.
Yes, I remember that vividly.
I mean, it's one of the most like life-changing videos because basically what you said in the end was it's a romantic relationship, right? And that's what a brand is, and that's how you can start scaling. And that to me was mind-blowing because of where I came from. So when we first started my entrepreneur journey, me and my wife, we started on Amazon, and we were total Amazon players, right? We got lucky. First year we sold about 300K in sales. It was like we got lucky, we chose right. But then as soon as other competitors came in, they drive down the costs. We had all these like competitors. I mean, our sales like plummeted. And so we decided to change gears, right? I know Amazon space really well. I've lived it. I actually have a consulting business. I help other clients scale. But the one thing that changed me from just an Amazon seller to a full entrepreneur to scaling up to where I am now is that statement right there. So thank you so much for helping me with my business. But that romantic relationship it's so crucial.
Okay, so first off, I'm not sure it is that clear what that means with the romantic relationship, and I'd rather you tell the world, whoever is listening, what does that mean? What did that mean to you? Like, what was that? What happened?
So I mean, so basically, we started off with a brand. So I actually have two brands. One is the supplement brand that you see behind me. It's Dose and Remedy. So by trade, I'm a pharmacist, right? And that I basically I threw it out there. I was like, hey, you know what? I know a lot about the different formulations. Every day for the last 11 years, I've been a pharmacist. I go out there and recommend different vitamins and supplements. But I wanted to combine one all into one, right? And, I launched that product. And the one thing that I really focused on was branding and packaging, right? So making sure that what the customer like experienced mattered, right? And I don't know if you know this, but supplements is the stupidest market to launch in. It is literally one of the most competitive markets, right? I mean, everyone's doing the same thing. And so I decided to go a different route. So I focused on my branding. I focused on formulations. And honestly, like this year, that's the one product that took off, right? My immune support, which now everyone is taking, because of COVID, it kind of launched, but there's millions out there. But what separated my brand from everyone else, and to note, my brand is not the cheapest. It's $29.99 for a bottle, and it's not a cheap supplement. Yeah,
Right.
but people are religiously buying it now, and kind of like your candles, because they understand that, they believe into what they're getting. Right. This pharmacist formulated. It's a high supplement. I don't compromise on any formulations, any ingredients, and so they're buying into that. And because they're buying into that, I'm charging the price I can, and I'm getting the results I am.
So how are you telling your story? Because for me, what you did is very important, but what your intention was, right? How did you get from having a packaging that looks nice, a product that has good content in it, but you're in the middle of a desert or you're in the middle of an ocean with a million other ones like it? What did you do? That's really what the listener, I want somebody who's in the same boat as you were in to say, because you took certain steps. I know when one day you connected with me, and you said, oh shit, right? Then why does Nike become a brand and ask for more or worth what they are worth? What were those little things that you did is what's I'm curious about, because I don't know your story. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, here's the thing. I launched the product and I launched it and I didn't put too much effort into branding, right? I know my formulation.
You mean this product?
This product, yes, the immune support. And we'll talk about my beauty brand later, which has surpassed this brand by like far, right? Okay. But that one is run by my wife, the Loveandpebble. But the supplement brand, I know which supplements work, right? So that's ground zero. But everyone else is doing the same thing, right? What I think people start experiencing is there's a sea of everyone else looking the same, feeling the same, and responding the same, right? It's like they just want to launch cheap. They just want to sell in like the bulk, and they want to put cheap ingredients, right? And so my message was to go away from that, which is the scariest thing, right? Because how can I charge $29 for a bottle? But from my branding, the name Dose and Remedy, I mean, it says it itself. Dosing is important to me. I will not compromise on any dosing. You know, all my dosing is based on the studies that I've like basically researched. And here's what happened. Here's kind of the thing that catapulted me. Okay. So during COVID, I launched the immune support and no one bought. Then all of a sudden, these people were finding the research and the studies that I had already previously read. There's 4 ingredients that they said would help with COVID. So it's quercetin, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc.
Right.
Mine was the only product with all 4, and mine was the only product with the correct dosing, which is which is like
Dose and remedy, right?
Dose and remedy. And literally it just took off. And then from there, I spent a lot of money into branding and marketing, and people are now just like, it's word of mouth. I don't know if you ever read a book, The Tipping Point.
Well, I know that very well. I've read the entire genre of those books. I must have 300 books I read.
Yeah, I mean, it basically literally happened just like that. One person said to another person, and then basically when they saw it, I was really attentive to everyone who messaged me. I would respond to them personally. Hey, I'm Dr. Tree. This is my product. Thank you so much. What do you need? Like,
Paul, what you're saying is you were lucky enough to have wind beneath your wings. Like the jet stream was in your favor. Some people don't have that jet stream. My curiosity is, there was a certain point that I know that you and I once talked, and you're like, I can't believe I can put these labels on it to say, like, talk about it on social media. These are the kind of things that are becoming important for other people, because the word of mouth that you got, that tipping point, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the tipping point until you do the prerequisites. What were those prerequisites, right? Everybody sees you when you pass the tipping point. Nobody sees you prior to the tipping point. What the heck did you do to get to the tipping point and pass it?
Right. So, I mean, here's the thing. The immune support wasn't my first product. My first product was actually a hangover supplement or for Asian flush. I don't know if you know anything about Asians, but when we drink, we get really red.
Yes.
It was, and that was our first launch. And we were like, hey, this is a really good product. I did the same thing. I did all the studies. I launched it. It started doing well out of the gate. But guess what happened? COVID. Everything got shut down. No one was going out to eat drink. People drinking at home, and they don't really care if they get flushed.
Right.
And it basically tanked, right? And so the pivot, the tipping point is, and this is like really important. I know this is a cliche, but I didn't stop, and I forwarded my next product. But here's the kicker, okay? One of the main ingredients in my hangover Asian flush is quercetin. And so I had a lot of background study from that product, and then I brought it over to the immune support, which now everyone knows that's one of the main ingredients. And so if you guys can, when you guys start your entrepreneur journey, you don't know I was selling dog food at first. I was selling, and trust me, I have a whole garage full of like dog food that I can't sell because I didn't realize that it actually cost me more to ship because of the weight than I would make profits. But that's the learning curve, right?
Well, try shipping a 5-pound candle that has to be double packed. Packed. Try that. So you have to find. So back to what you were saying, very important. I want to be super clear about this. Entrepreneurs have tenacity, perseverance. Like we are like completely blind to failure. Like there's something about you and me and people like us and whoever else is kind of like in that same journey. It's very dark when you're doing it because you fail at your dog food, you failed at your Asian flush, the market is against you, but because you kept going, right? The wind was at the right time, but you can't line these up. You can't pick and choose when you're going to line up.
It doesn't, and it happens.
You have no choice.
You don't. And the one thing that I keep saying to myself is, whenever you start a business or entrepreneurship, you want that confidence, right? You want to be like, yeah, this is going to succeed, right? And you're like, hey, this is like a product or this is a business that's going to, it's going to scale. But when you first start, you have no confidence. So one of the things that I spent a lot of time realizing is that when you first start any kind of entrepreneur journey, instead of confidence that you don't have because you don't have the sales, you don't have the profits, instead have courage. And that's what it takes, because you need to have that courage, right? Because you're going to fail a million times. I'm going to throw out a number, and it's just totally true. This is what happened in our first year. So we launched in 2018. We lost 100K in like advertising overspend, shipping logistics cost, bad manufacturing, and it just added up to 100K. Broke even, almost a little bit negative.
Hold on. Pause for a second. Pause. Guys, let me tell you something. Paul, I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm telling you, because that failure, you should have lit a cigar and said, thank you for the failure. You celebrate that failure.
Yeah.
And 100%, as much as you light a cigar when you win, you got to light a cigar when you lose. Both ways. It's an attitude, right?
Yeah.
It's because win or lose, everything is a gain at the end of the day.
Exactly. No, it totally is. And I think the statement that's similar to that I always use is none of your failures or none of your successes, or all of your successes are built on top of a stack of failures. It doesn't happen any other way. You have to have failure after failure, and then lastly is a success. And that's kind of what we're hitting this year. Like with TikTok, we kind of blew up, not my account, but my wife's account. She's a natural. I've been like pushing her to do it like nonstop, and she grew from 500 followers to, I think she's at 60,000 followers, and it's really focused on business. And honestly, because of that, Shark Tank reached out to us. We didn't even reach out. We didn't apply anything.
You're kidding me. That's how it happened?
That's how it happened.
I was going to ask you that.
No, they basically were like, hey, this product is so cool. Which, I mean, and granted, our product is we worked really hard, and it's patent pending. We have a full utility patent. No. I'm going to show you the other one.
Oh, the other product.
The other product. So this is.
Oh, you're talking about the beauty product.
Yeah, I'm talking about beauty product now. So I'm switching gears on you guys. So I have two brands. This is the other product, Loveandpebble. And so this is the product that's on Shark Tank.
Oh,
I'm kind of all over the place. This is what it is.
Okay.
It's the first ever Cryo Facial, and I'll show you.
Cryo Facial.
Yep. So basically, one day my wife was, we were at home, and she would freeze bananas and rub it on her face. Wow. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, no, it works. Trust me, it works. So, okay, fine. She froze a banana, some aloe, whatever, blended up, put it on my face. I was like, wow, this really works. So this is the first ever, and this is kind of like a demo. First ever Cryofacial. So it's a powder. It's all natural fruits. So it's aloe, papaya, banana, and turmeric. Mixed up, freezes, and as you rub it on your face, it melts into a skin mask. It's a quick mask. And in 5 minutes, you get the cryotherapy, and then you get a super.
How do you get a cryotherapy? Cryo is sub-zero.
It's freezing, or it's frozen. That's what they call it, cryotherapy. It's like not sub-zero, but just frozen.
Okay.
So it's so basically you get the cooling effect, which, in the industry, there's a lot of face rollers, ice rollers, stuff like that. Yep. And so basically this is what is going to be featured on Shark Tank on November 19th.
Oh my God. You know what? Guys, I didn't even know that. What I know is all he said was, I got on Shark Tank, and I said, Paul, whatever your story is, we never talked about it, by the way, right, Paul?
No, we didn't.
I said, I don't want to talk about it privately because I want it, and here you are, complete surprise to me. I thought this got on Shark Tank.
No, that one is scaled up to 7 figures. So we're just about to hit $1 million this year in sales. This brand is also on track as well, especially with all the PR that we're hitting. So we have two brands, which, to take a step back, do not ever launch two brands. It's the stupidest thing I've ever done. And it's not when you fail at both brands that it gets harder. It's when you succeed at both brands. And we're basically torn in two different directions. And so right now we're trying to split up the companies and have two managing teams. Right now we had one team doing both, which is absolutely crazy. And let me show you this. So this is our home office. So this is Dose Remedy.
Yeah.
And this is
that's your wife.
So this is where we work. I'm over here and she's over here.
Oh my
And
God. That's,
so,
well, I'll tell you one thing. You know, being diluted, you know, is a horror show for business.
yeah,
Horror show. Trying to grab too many things is a big mistake. It
yeah.
is. It is. Entrepreneurs are very hungry and they think they can do everything. And listen, I'm 58 years old. I've learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Like, really stick to your guns. You know how many people walk through the door, like you said, can we do this? Can we do private label? Can you do this? Everything is a no to me. No.
Yeah.
I'm focused on what I'm doing. We're creating, and the reason it's super important, this conversation, is that in your case, you gotta, like, eventually one of these babies are like, something's gonna happen.
Something's going to happen in one of them. And I already kind of know it. So we're looking to exit maybe in one of them. And if it's any of them, it's going to be the supplement space. You know, I do have to clean up a little bit and you know, get it to a certain selling point. But yeah, so that's the one that will go. And I think the beauty brand has like way more potential because that's the one that, I mean, we scaled up. We got featured on TikTok. I don't know if I told you that, but
No.
TikTok actually
on TikTok.
TikTok reached out to us to feature us as one of their small businesses because there's a big push for TikTok to kind of promote small business. So we represented the Southeast, and I'll send you guys the link. We recorded. It was a virtual event. We recorded about two weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
And it was really cool. There's a lot of PR in that, and that's another thing because of everything we've been through. It almost feels lucky, but at the same time, I know where we came from. All this PR is coming at us. You know, Shark Tank happened, and you know, it blew us. You know, hopefully, it'll blow us up on the 19th. The Today Show reached out to us, and we were featured on there.
No way.
So I don't know if I told you that, but Al Roker was like saying our tagline, which is crazy. I was like, is that Al Roker saying like our tagline for this brand is skincare has never been cooler, literally.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
right.
like,
That's very good.
yeah,
But who came up, like, who did all this? This is all your experience over, like, you guys did it in-house.
we did it in-house. We
No
did it
marketing
in-house.
team.
Nope. We've had marketing teams, you know, they try to help us with paid ads, but you know, we realize that doing organic is, you know, like the first and foremost thing that you have to do, right?
Because
Yeah,
that is super authentic.
it is super authentic. Yes.
Okay, right? So, you know, I gotta tell all you guys, by the way, there is nothing wrong by being exactly who you are. Don't listen to anyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is my belief, okay? Just, if the minute you try to be something, you fail at it. The minute you are true to yourself, that is the minute you begin to win. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, it really is. And honestly, I think that's when we started showing our story on TikTok, which is like a brilliant platform to really show your story. People started gravitating towards us. And, you know, at first we were scared. We're like, man, we're a skincare company. We want to seem like bigger than we really are. You know, I'm a supplement company. I really want to like seem a lot bigger than I am. But I mean, honestly, I know I have the credentials because I'm a pharmacist. My wife and I have formulated something that no one else in the industry has done. And it's all organic. It's all us, right? It's what we created.
So what'd you put on TikTok, by the way? Like, you know, you said you went from 0 to what, 60,000 followers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm gonna assume that you just did whatever it was you were doing every single day. Talk about it, put it on the face, just show it, show the product.
Show the product, and honestly, there's a way to do TikTok, and my wife is mastered. I mean, she can just like, I'll launch a video and maybe get like 1,000. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool, I got 1,000. She'll launch a video and hit 20,000 easy. And it's just, she knows how to integrate. She knows how to speak to her audience. And that's part of the romantic thing that you were talking about. She knows how to speak to them. She knows what they want to hear or say and how to like experience our brand.
Well, it's okay. So I'm big on that subject. And so let me throw my 2 cents in from my perspective. My always feeling is you never try to speak to them in a certain way. You have to speak to a person. Like,
Yeah.
you've got to speak to the person, show them what you're doing, and like, no, there's nothing hidden, nothing curated, but the message, right? The message has to be for the listener. If you start gloating, everybody's turning off. It's really about how is this product, how is this thing good for you?
Right. Right.
It's not, I have this. Let me tell you, the consumer, I'm going to talk about the things. I'm going to tell you why it's good. Like, be informative. And on TikTok, it's really important to do that. And on anything, by the way, on any platform, when you're talking to a customer, you have to talk to the customer like you're not selling anything. You have to really let them know why they might want it, and then let them take it.
Exactly.
Right? Your wife probably intuitively does that. She
totally does. I mean, I don't know, like she just kind of relates with them in a way that, I mean, they're just drawn to her. And I think, and it's nothing that she's trying to do. It's just who she is, right?
That's my point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point. My point is, she's not trying. It's not like she read a book and did that thing. She has that personality to be able to talk to someone like it's their girlfriend or whatever, right?
Exactly.
And she's just showing a friend how to use it.
Right, right.
It's that simple.
It is. And also the one thing that she does do, and I kind of would like to call this out, is she's vulnerable. And I think that's huge. As an entrepreneur, like, she's vulnerable to her audience. You know, case in point, when her first video went viral, I think it's at 4 or 5 million now. We sold out in all of her inventory in probably 4 days. Sold out, just completely out. It was madness. We were just like, this is crazy. And this is before we scaled up to having warehouses and 3PLs. We were shipping it from our house. Okay. And so we're shipping like thousands of packages. And, you know, we did do some videos on that. And I think that shows where we are. But we're at now, you know, we have warehouses, we have a 3PL, and we don't do our shipping ourselves, which is totally, I mean, it gets old fast, right? Just, we love every single purchase. We wouldn't give it away for the world. But when you're on your like 2,000 like package that you're folding, you're just like, this is getting tiring, right? But showing that vulnerability of where we are, or if we're out of stock, or if we're late, or if we make a mistake, I think that's crucial to your business, because you're going to have mistakes.
Okay. That's what I call communicating with the customer on every single level. By the way, I have been telling this to everyone. If you're going to be late, let the customer know the fact, the truth. Everybody can deal with the truth. The minute you lie, you know, there's a reason why our judicial system has 12 jurors, right? Because they're not professionals, but what are they? They're humans. Humans can smell bullshit every single day of the week. Yeah, yeah. It's the truth, right? These jurors have no idea about the judicial system. They just sit there and they look at a guy and they say, this guy's a freaking liar, all right? Yeah, so what you're talking about, the vulnerability, by the way, Team Lee has joined. I love you guys. I love you. You should look him up. So the vulnerability, by the way, that you're talking about is tell your truth, tell your faults, treat your customer like they're your community. So when you said to me about the Nike and all that, by the way, and romancing the customer, romancing the person, I look at, just so you know, I look at my customer, and I'm going to talk about me now for a second. I know you've been, and I'll let you continue on, but I really believe that a customer is like dating. I've always said this. I want to write a book called Romancing the Customer. Why? Think about it for a second. You meet a girl. First of all, a customer is no different than meeting someone, sleeping with them, getting married to them, and having a relationship. The steps are the same. Yeah. I swear to you, Paul, it's the same. To meet a girl or a guy, to meet someone, you have to go out, which means you got to put yourself out there. You got to get dressed up. You got to go out there. You got to know how to talk. You got to invite them. You have to get a number. You have to, and all of these things are the same in your customer relations. And then you, like, when you sleep with them, what is that? If you sleep with them, they buy one thing from you, that means it's a one-night stand. Yeah, that's all it is, right? True. So yeah, you don't want that, right? Yeah. Think about it. Then the real relationship begins. That's what happens, and then the marriage begins. So and you can't lie. And your
Yeah.
wife does that probably very well.
Right, right.
She treats this like, and I say this, it's a romantic relationship with a customer. I've always said this a million times. So if she's able to do that on TikTok and if people are seeing it, she's probably doing supernaturally all this stuff.
Exactly.
Supernaturally.
And I want to jump in and say one more thing. And I think this is something we recently learned. So my most recent failure, even though we're getting all this press and growth, is after we went viral the first time, we started thinking too big. We started thinking, oh my God, we got to market to all these thousands of people across the nation. Oh, I mean, we were getting orders worldwide. Like, we just got to market to everyone in the whole world, right? And as soon as we had that mentality, we started losing sales. We started losing traction because we were thinking too big, right? We were thinking we need to take care of every single one customer. As soon as sales started losing, we're like, what's going on? It's we were so hot. We're doing so well. And it wasn't until we switched our mindset to focusing on one customer or 10 people or 5 people that we started gaining momentum back up. And I think that's crucial to any business. And that's kind of where we're at. There's tons of business ahead of me. There's tons of business that I've surpassed in my journey. But that's one thing that I think everyone has to do is focus on 10 customers, focus on 5 customers, especially when you start scaling big. And I think that's where we're at right now in our business. And it's starting to see more drastic changes in sales.
Well, I have this thing, the feeling I have. I never cut myself a check to live.
Okay.
You know who cuts my check? My customer.
Yeah.
My customer cuts me a check every day. So I got to service that customer because they're the ones cutting me a check every day.
Yeah.
And like you in our office, when a customer calls, I want to jump to the phone call. I know that's never scalable. And by the way, with everything that we're doing, well, I answer every customer. To this day, I answer every single customer. I put out my mobile phone number. Why? Because of what you just said. Because every single customer is part of that big picture.
Right.
The minute that you don't treat that one customer right, your habits change.
Yeah.
Your habits change, which means that you then end up not treating the next one and the next one. And it's a spiral downwards.
Right. And then the culture of your brand and your company changes too.
100%. 100%. Because, the way you keep your office clean, for example, the way we polish everything because I don't care how much time it takes. That attitude towards the customer is super important. Right. And when you have to learn how to scale that attention so that the receiving customer feels that.
Yeah.
It's your job, my job, and as an entrepreneur, to make sure that every single customer feels like they were the only customer for me.
It is. It's true. It's absolutely true. Especially if you start a company where people are ingesting your products. You definitely have to do that with that. There's a level of trust that you have to have with that and level of professionality, And so that's kind of what we and even skincare, right? I mean, they're putting stuff on their skin that could damage their face, right? So
right.
I think that really, really matters for sure.
So one time, do you remember one time you DM'd me or something about the little, was it the sticker or which one was it?
So I started just listening to your channel a lot. Yeah, I mean.
By the way, they don't know anything about this. I don't broadcast it, so let's talk about it for a second.
Yeah.
So I've got. Go ahead. Tell them what I've got.
What do you mean? Sorry.
The private channel, the text messaging that I have.
Oh yeah. Oh, they don't know about that. So.
No one knows.
Oh, okay. So. TikTok's great because you do your short videos, and I love the content because it's just enough. That I can get my day going, right? And so as an entrepreneur, it's this whole thing where you don't have courage. You need courage instead of confidence. And I listen to almost every inspirational kind of quote book guru. And then I found yours, right? And so literally, I don't even know how I signed up. I remember emailing you saying, hey, thank you so much for this video. You're so inspirational. And then I got signed up in your text message, and every day you get a text message, you send it out.
Right. So they don't know. So let me say this, people.
Yeah.
I have a private group of people. I text message every single morning to a very big crowd. It's massive, but they're private. And if anybody wants to get on it, I'm happy to get on it. The number is 81010. I'm sorry, and you text at T Ferrier. So that's when you do that, you become a member of my group. And what happens?
Yeah, you get a text message. I thought it was okay. These quotes are like so killer. They are like really good quotes, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're a business owner, or if you just want to like live life, right? They're very inspirational quotes.
They're not quotes, people. They're my thoughts, by the way.
And that's the thing. I thought they were quotes.
They're not.
Because they're so good. I mean, it's like, it feel like they're like, you know, like they're poets that wrote it, but they're not. They're his thoughts. And I was like, and I just found that out like maybe a couple of days ago. I was like, that is not like, you know, I thought he was opening up a book and like, I'm going to use this quote today and then like put it out there. But it's not. It's like all organic.
Paul, I'm not kidding you. Every day that I send a text out, it is the emotion that I have of that day.
Yeah.
It is that emotion. For example, you know, what happens about fear? People, like you said, you talked about fear, so I'm going to talk about that. Fear, in my mind, is not a reality. Fear is the fact that you haven't done something yet that you're comfortable. A skydiver, I was watching the night before, somebody skydive. I'm saying to myself, I would have fear, but this guy's doing it with no fear. Why is that? It's only because he's done it 100 times. But the fact of skydiving doesn't change. So what exactly is fear? Which is why I did that text message to all you guys to talk about fear, that it's not a reality. Fear is not a reality.
Yeah.
It's not. So it always comes from, because I have certain fears, of course. I'm not saying I don't have it. But in business, there is tons. Faith, by the way, that's another thing. Having faith, believing in the process, executing to your max every day, at the same time doing all this, having insane amount of patience for the far future.
Yeah.
Try that.
It's very hard. Yeah.
Try that.
Yeah.
Try
but
that.
I mean, to your point, like, I thought they were like not. I didn't know that they were your thoughts every day. So like, I respect you even more now. You know, and you know, as an entrepreneur, you want to reach out to different people who have the right mindset or who can align with you. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now, right? Because you get there faster. It's more fun when you get there, and you know, giving back. And I really love what you're kind of trying to do here is give back to the community, put out to the world, because that's kind of what I do with almost everyone I meet. So, you know, I'm part of like a countless amount of like groups, whether it's Amazon focus, right. Whether it's just entrepreneur, whether it's supplements, pharmacists, beauty space, whatever. We reach out to everyone. And my thing is, and I think a lot of people in this business or who run business have a selfish me mentality, but you don't grow as fast. And we didn't grow. And that's another thing. We didn't grow as fast. We wouldn't have grown as fast if I hadn't like reached out to everybody. Like I've learned something from every single person that I've given to as well. And that's where we're at.
Repeat that again. Wait. It's the people you gave to.
Yeah. That they gave me back something that I never knew I knew. Like I don't know everything. And any entrepreneur that says they know or pretends that they have everything locked down, they don't. No one has this game locked down. We are all scared. We all don't know what the hell we're doing, but we're doing it, right? And I think that's the key. And when you meet someone, case in point, I'm gonna throw this out there. So I've met like a lot of other entrepreneurs, especially through Shark Tank, right? It's kind of like a cohort that we have now, because we're all like sitting there, we're all like, oh my God, I'm gonna pitch in front of the sharks. We're all like nervous, right? And we get to know each other, right? So I met, you know, a couple of guys, and they know more about, you know, website optimization or A/B split testing than me. Way more. I suck at it. I'm not even that good. I don't even pretend to be that good. They don't know as much on Amazon. So we exchange ideas. I help them launch on Amazon. I help them with their store. They help me optimize. and my sales convert even better now, right? And so it's that kind of thing that that gets you faster versus holding on to all the information yourself. I know Amazon, I'm not going to share with any of you guys, nothing, right? And so, I mean, that's something, the second key point, if you guys don't take anything away from this, like, give more than you get, because you will get actually more than you give.
Listen, I have 4 kids that I have to get the psychology correct. And one of the things that I tell them, think of a fireplace for a second. And a fireplace is a great analogy for what you're saying. Do you just walk into a fireplace and stand in front of it and say, give me heat? You don't. What do? You go get the wood, you get the kindling, you get the matches, you chop the wood, you put it in there, you work at it, you huff at it, you puff at it, you wait, and then it gives you heat. How much do you give first before you get anything?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's totally true. And that's like, wait, especially in business, and it's the way to do it. And it's the way to do it, like,
but that applies to your audience too, by the way, your customers too. Your customers, by the way, here's a very important point, by the way. So I have a habit of giving a gift on every order. On every order, I throw in something gift. Because I have confidence and faith in the customer, on my customers, that they're going to appreciate the extra.
Right.
Because I'm going to give. I don't ask for anything in return. I don't want anything in return. The only thing I want is their loyalty. That's it. Yeah. So I have to give first to at least gain the loyalty. Exactly. So, right? So no. It's the same with you. How much I put out all that stuff for you on that text messaging system, I don't get anything back. This is the first time, by the way.
Yeah.
I got 3 years I've been doing this. My first interview.
Nice. And honestly, I mean, like, I know, you have this business, but I've had so many coaches. I've joined so many courses. I've learned a massive, a lot of different skill sets through courses. But I mean, this is something that is in your warehouse, to be honest. And I'm going to just tell you straight up, like, you could probably be a really good coach. It's very hard to find. And guys like me, we've had so many coaches, like, and we need it though, because it keeps us focused. It keeps us, driven. And it optimizes and it gets us faster to where we want to go, right? So this mindset, all the different things that you text me, like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's what I need to do today. All right, cool. Then I take action. And
you actually execute on some of this stuff?
Yeah, I do. And I'm like, all right, cool. This is what I need to do. This is my mindset, and I'm going to get it done. And it gets me the task that I need to do, because there's so many, especially when you're starting out. I mean, we're the marketing agency. We're the, customer service. We're trying to source new products, supply chain, and all these different connections to retailers, which we have a couple of pretty big opportunities. 2 of them we signed NDA, so we can't say anything yet. Shark Tank's coming up, and we're like getting freaked out because our website's gonna crash. We've got to make sure we have enough inventory and all this stuff. So there's so much things that you're
and financing.
Oh, cash flow. We didn't even talk about cash flow.
People don't understand cash flow. When you do a cash flow analysis, has nothing to do with profitability. Nothing. No. People don't get that.
So I'm gonna say something, okay? So we hit 7 figures this year. Guess who feels like a millionaire? Not me.
Not you.
Because all of it is going back into the business. None of it's in my pocket. I still, live the same life I have, and I still, there's nothing changed here.
Well, I'm going to elaborate on what you just said. Actually, it's a huge stress on you because, and I know because I know, what it does is now you're thinking about, where do I get the money for my inventory? How do I get the packing? How do I get there's so many, now you begin to freak out, actually.
Because you're cutting bigger checks. You're cutting way bigger checks.
You're not used to writing those big checks. I remember when I was whatever age, and then I'm like, $50,000 for me was like, I'm sweating, and it's freezing outside. I'm standing in minus 40 and sweating because I have to write a $50,000 check. It's so stressful. So I agree with you. When you do begin to get that kind of scaling to yourself, different challenges. And by the way, as an entrepreneur, your problem, you know, the definition of business, by the way, is problem. That
Yeah.
the word business has to be changed to I run a problem solving business. I run problem solving.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is. So I think the mindset that for me, for when I text this, by the way, can I just put this out there for everyone else, because I don't promote it too much, because it costs me, by the way, I pay $4 per person to have you for the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you don't know this. It costs $4 per person per year is what I pay. It's
Wow.
very expensive for me to do this, but it does. I don't care. It's 81010 is the phone number. You type in @T Ferrier, TFERRIER. It'll join my, like, this group that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Which is right now is pretty big, but it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I shouldn't have, because I get excited with these things.
No. And I think that's when you're cutting these kind of checks and when you're growing this, you know, scale, and you don't want to miss opportunity. Like, for example, Shark Tank is coming up, and I know we're going to have a lot of inventory. And this is kind of like behind the scenes. I can't say anything about the show, but what I can say is I'm freaking out here because I don't want to, like, not have enough inventory, because this is, you know, like the biggest opportunity of our business, our brands. But at the same time, it's kind of scary, right? And it's the same thing when we went viral back in May. Same thing. We're like, oh my gosh, we're blowing up. We're gonna, like, get into Sephora. Our big dream is Sephora, right? Or Ulta, right? That's the beauty.
Be careful of Sephora.
Yeah, we're taking a step back, and we're kind of like, you know, we have some experience with retail. So right now we are actually in Urban Outfitters. So we're in Urban Outfitters, and, you know,
as a test program.
Was that
as a test?
No. We've had a relationship with them for, I think it started like in about a year now, less than a year. So, you know, we sell our products. They liked it, but, you know, it's retail. That's a whole nother beast. Honestly, for me, I like direct to consumer. I like e-commerce. It's way simpler. You're making way more profits, and there's less headache, right? But at the same time, a part of you, I don't know if it's ego, you're like, I just want to get in retail so I can walk into a store and say, there's my stuff, you know, like that's.
Oh, I pulled out of Bloomingdale's. I pulled out of Bloomingdale's.
Yeah, wow.
I got out because of what you just said.
It's not as glamorous. Yeah.
Payment is tough. Chargebacks is tough.
Chargeback. Oh.
Commitments is tough. I mean, I pulled out of that. I pulled out of all of them. I'm like, no way. I'm going to go back in on my conditions, when they're accepting my conditions. Otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's another being, you know, when you're green by definition means you're in the beginning.
Yeah.
And season means, hey guys, you want this product? These are my terms now.
Yeah. And it's honestly, as a brand, it's the only way to do it, because it could really mess up your business. And what it messes up the most, and you know this, is your cash flow. If you mess up your cash flow, your business is dead. It's like, it's you either lose traction, or a lot of traction, or it totally bankrupts you. So, and that's where you don't want to be.
You know, and you have Shark Tank coming,
right?
And which means that now you have to go out somehow from somewhere. You have to have the money for the inventory.
Yeah.
Now you don't even know how much inventory you need.
Exactly.
And then you're like, is it going to be, you know, $2 million in sales overnight? And if it is, do I have the inventory? If it isn't, what the heck do I do? I'll give you an example. When I had no idea when I launched. There was something I had launched. I went to a show, right? We were doing. I did a ridiculous number, right, for a show, 2-day show. We did like $200,000-$300,000 in wholesale sales.
Wow.
I didn't know at the time, like, how to deliver this thing. I learned the lesson. I only delivered like 20% of it.
Oh, wow.
I would never make that mistake again, ever, right?
And that's,
Now imagine, I don't know, do you have the finances? You don't have the finances? Is somebody backing and somebody not backing you? Do you go sell a piece of your company to get that financing? It's always like, for you, hair raising. You don't want to sell your company. You don't want any part of it to be sold to anyone. You don't want anyone telling you what to. Do you want to be somebody's bitch? No, you don't.
Exactly. And that's, honestly, we've been approached with a couple offers, but we turned them down because we know we want to bootstrap it till we get to a point where if we do get an investor involved, it's one of two things. It's not because of money that we need, or it's mainly because it's connections that they have, right, to blow us up. And I think that's we've made this commitment that it really has to be that person that can bring us to the next level regardless of money. Like, and that's one thing with Shark Tank. I can't tell you what happened, but us as a company, that's what we're looking for. Like, someone to help us, blow up to the next level and get these connections, get to where we need to be, open doors for us essentially.
Well, I mean, listen, you went on Shark Tank, whatever happened, but at the end of the day, had you not gone on Shark Tank, I'm pretty sure based on your personality, your perseverance, your tenacity, your outlook, your ability to all the things that you've done in the past, your failures and all that, you would have done it on your own anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird.
You would have done it on your own anyway.
I would have.
I don't care what. I don't know. It's not important, but obviously you can't tell. But you would have still done it. It seems that you have that. You have the pieces to know how to put it together at this point because of the tipping point. You talk about the tipping point,
right? Yeah, and we were at the tipping point. But funny story is when we first started, I have a full-time job, and I love my job. And I don't know if I told you what I do for a living, but I'm a pharmacist. Right, but I'm a pharmacist for Delta Airlines.
Oh,
so
that's wild.
I'm an executive pharmacist, and all my patients are just the CEOs and executive personnel for Delta Airlines. Which, if you want to look at a company that's very doing it right, I give them praises every day, especially what they had to navigate, through 2020 as a company, as an airline that basically, I mean, they went like highest profit share in 2020, February 2020. I mean, they were making billions. I think they gave a lot of like bonus incentive to basically crashing their company overnight, right? But my job, I love it. And the reason why we're coming on so late is actually I'm still practicing as a pharmacist. I felt an obligation to still immunize everybody. And so that's why I'm kind of like still doing that on top of this business. Now, is it getting to a point where I'm going to have to choose? Yes, it is. But it's not, I've been the pharmacist at the same location for about 11 years now. And so I've grown relationships.
Do they know what you're doing?
No, none of them know what I'm doing. None of them.
You're going to be on Shark Tank. They're going to know.
Maybe they might know. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, back to what you said prior. Being honest with them, a lot of times they're probably super supportive of you.
No, yeah, they probably would. I mean, it's an 11-year relationship, so I've known some of them for 11 years, right? So it's like, I'm not even a pharmacist anymore. It's kind of like they're friends, right? But going back to my point is, and I'm going to say this is going to sound crazy, but I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I love my job. It wasn't until I met my wife and we're sitting on the couch. She looks over at me and she's like, "Hey, I want to start a business with you." And I remembered, I was like, "What kind of business?" And I was like, she's like, "E-commerce is where it's at." Like we started looking at videos on, Amazon, all that stuff. And then it just something like clicked, and then it just nonstop. I just can't stop right now. And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm getting to a point where I realize that, I can't do that all the time because I'll get burnt out. But I mean, I remember like days where I would, come home from work, full-time job, typing on the computer, looking up the research, learning, falling asleep with the laptop in my lap, waking up, still searching, and just trying to like find out, what our business is going to be, what our brand's going to be. And this is kind of where we're at right now. So
I want to touch on something from your personal experience. I have a very specific way of thinking about Amazon and direct.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the customer relationship on Amazon, the customer relationship on your product directly.
Well, before I do that, I want to know what your perspective on Amazon is, because I know it might be a little bit different than mine. So what is your perspective on Amazon?
I'm going to say it this way: as a businessman and somebody who loves their customer, and I love my customer enough to want a relationship with them, Amazon does not afford me that.
It doesn't. I do agree with you.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, on Amazon, it's Amazon's customer, and you can't acquire them as much as you can off of Amazon.
It's
right.
You see, and so let's go a step further than that. Hold on a second. When you say the more important part is it's not that I can do things to them. I can't make them feel the brand identity through Amazon. I can't communicate with them. We can't have a lovely relationship.
Exactly.
I can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
You know, I can't send them an email saying thank you. I can't.
Yeah.
Realistically, I can't do that from a brand perspective. I can't send them something to say, hey, I sent you this thing, an appreciation for something. I can't do any of that. I cannot have a relationship with my customer. And I feel kind of like it's not about me. I feel the person who bought the product from me has been, it's a horrible way, like raped of that relationship ability.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I would say you can have a relationship on Amazon. It's just like a long distance relationship, right? It's like
not my personality. I'm like super intimate. That's what I want.
Right, exactly. You're super intimate, but if you have a relationship, if you use Amazon, then it's kind of like a long distance relationship. So you still have that relationship, but you just can't be in their face. You can't like hold them, right?
Exactly.
And I agree with that. So, our story is we started on Amazon. Here's the pros with Amazon. It's a powerful, very powerful marketplace, right? There's just so many.
My sister's in one place, Amazon. She's got a huge warehouse. She sells a ton. One location, Amazon.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that.
And that's the power of it, right? And so when we first started, we were like, we joined all these courses, which all of them were just scams, honestly. They all want to take your money. So if you guys ever have any questions, just DM me and be like, hey, is this guy good? Is this guy good? And I will tell you, I pretty much kind of know everyone in the space, right? I know which ones are legit and know what they're talking about. I know which ones are fake and aren't even selling products and they just want to sell a course to make money. So
why do you need a course? Go on YouTube. You want to learn photography? I learned photography on my own, by the way. I spent 1 year every weekend. Ask my wife. Every Sunday, I spent 8 hours a day on Sunday watching photography. I have all the equipment. I know how to, I can take beautiful, most of every shot on my website, I took it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can definitely use it on your own. Or, what we're talking about, connect with somebody,
right.
Give them, something, and then they give you something back in return, right?
Correct.
But definitely you can learn it yourself. But so we started on Amazon and we did the whole thing that every Amazon seller does that was trying to do a cash grab. And it was at 2018, 2019 is choose a product because you can see all of the sales on Amazon. You can see whatever people are making.
But Paul, that's a fight to the bottom.
It is. And we didn't know that. So we chose a product and we're like, oh my God, this is great. We're going to make a lot of money. We're going to be super successful until competitors came in. Literally, we came out with a product. It was pretty good. And then 20 other competitors came in right after that. Lower the price. It was a race to the bottom, right?
Race to the bottom.
Race to the bottom. So
the beauty of a brand lies right there.
Exactly. So it's so hard, right? But that being said, the way I look at Amazon now and the way, we've kind of grown my brand and, especially with my consulting business and all these other brands is you have to have a brand first. And when you have a brand and you launch it on Amazon, it's a very powerful because the main thing with Amazon that makes you successful is sales, right? As you sell more, Amazon presents you more to their massive amount of followers. And then as you sell more and they sell more, and then and it's a flywheel all the way to the top, right?
Right.
But you have to have it based on value and you have to have it based on a relationship with your...
So maybe you and I can talk and you can help me now. And I'm going to do an ask here.
Yeah.
I am on Amazon. I'm not kidding, Paul.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
on
for sure.
Amazon. I would
You're,
love for you to like look into it,
yeah,
you know, and just say, hey, Rafi, listen, I have a brand. I don't let anyone go on Amazon with my product. No one is allowed. I'll
yeah,
shut them
it's
down.
locked. Yeah.
It's
No,
locked in, right?
and that's what, you know, I mean, it opens up to the marketplace, right? Now, is there stipulations to the Amazon marketplace? Yes, right? There's a certain type of shopper, you know, that does go on Amazon. They're looking for a value proposition. But if you have a strong enough brand, you can break through those value, you know, propositions that they kind of expect, right?
I
You
sell $100 candles all day on Amazon.
exactly. You need that. But and the cool thing about Amazon, there are things that you can do to make your product rank higher. There are things that you do that can, you know, help you get more exposure, right?
Paul, I'm coming right out and asking you,
Yeah,
please help me get better on Amazon. Would
let's
you
do
do
it.
that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All
No,
right,
for
so
sure. I
I'm
mean,
gonna. It's a serious challenge. I will announce. I will privately announce to you what my sales are on Amazon, and then let's see where we can take it. I don't want you to work for me. I'm not. That's not what I'm
yeah,
asking.
yeah,
Just look at it and just say,
yeah.
Rafi, these are the things you got to do.
No,
That's
no,
it.
that's what I can do all day long. I can. So basically, what's you know, I think I feel pretty confident. I can gauge your marketplace, and I can give you actionable items to say, hey, you need to do this to be successful. This is your chance of success, or this is how much you need to spend. Right? There's always a trade-off to how you can succeed, but there's
Well,
always a way. Right?
you know, Solozo.
No, who's that?
Solozo is we hired Solozo. It's a computer driven. What it does all the search terms. It does all the budgeting. It does all the negative search, removes the negative search. It does all the things for you.
Oh, I see.
It's
I
an
see.
AI basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I hate LAIs. They never
okay,
work. You need the human component because why? Just like you know, the people who are searching on Amazon computers, and I mean, the AI can help you some, but there's different ways to attack different marketplaces on Amazon, right?
you're
And
gonna
that's
help me.
yeah, no, definitely. We'll look into it
I,
for
I
sure.
hate asking, Paul. I really hate
No,
asking.
for
But I'm gonna
sure.
ask.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask this one time.
yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
I'm totally down. You've probably helped me way more than you know. But
This is the ideal fireplace situation, by the way, people.
yeah, yeah,
Admit it, right?
yeah,
Ideal. I spent 2 years talking to you with my text messages.
yeah.
I put in
And
the
then
time.
yeah, that's why I'm okay to do it. Right?
Thank you.
You know,
I
and
appreciate that.
but so going back to the Amazon piece, like it's just a marketplace, right? But you have to build your brand, and if you launch it on Amazon, it's a powerful enough to gain sales. And as you gain the reviews, as you gain the people loving your product, even when you launch candles, right? Get those 5-star reviews, people
Right.
start seeing it. Hey, cool, this is awesome, and it honestly is probably one of the most powerful platforms. It's not easy. It's not easy anymore, right? I think in 2017, 16, people could launch like whatever and they make millions, right? And it's not that way anymore. But what I would say to everyone who is thinking about FBA or who wants to do it, there's still a massive amount of money to be made, right? It's so much traffic there that people are willing to buy, right?
Well, I'll tell you what I feel about Amazon truthfully now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're on all cylinders, you're correct. My feeling is the brand has to be of substance. You have to spend the energy to build the brand of substance outside of Amazon.
It is.
Amazon is a cash flow thing. That's all it is.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not going to build your brand. It's going to be a cash flow situation. That's all it is. And the beauty of Amazon is that you can, because you're fulfilling yourself, or even no matter how you do it, if it's a 3PL people stands for third party logistics, which means that you send your product to somebody else and they fill it. So even then you can put in a coupon code, you can do whatever you want to bring them back to your website. You can always do that, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no big magic there. But at the end of the day, my feeling is honestly, Paul, you have to do everything, meaning you have to do a little bit of wholesale. You have to do a little bit of this, direct to consumer. You have to do the, what do you call, Amazon. You have to do international. You have to do all that. Don't laugh because another one of my sayings is coming, okay?
Uh-huh.
When you walk outside your house, sometimes it doesn't rain, but it has these little pebbles of like floating rain, I call them.
Mm-hmm.
If you have enough of a big enough canvas, and you collect all that, you actually can get, and you have a pin in the middle of it, like if you have like a blanket and it collects, you can actually get that thing to start dripping water in the middle of it, because
Wow.
it'll collect. But all you're getting is like those little pieces, but you have a lot of the little pieces. The totality is significant.
Right, right.
The totality is always significant, because we don't need like a business that, you know, most businesses is what's called fixed cost businesses. A lot of them are, right? Most businesses fail because they're making a profit on the individual item, but they don't have what's called velocity. You don't have enough of the sale per day. So your expenses, your fixed expenses are here. You're only selling here. You're like not catching up. The minute you go over here, you're going to go on Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
Just if your sales go up here, your cost isn't going up here too. Your cost is going just this much. The rest is your pure profit.
Right, right. And that's but you need the cash flow to get there, right?
Correct.
And so that's the challenge, right?
Correct.
Yeah. As you scale up, you'll start seeing more profits if you manage your business wisely. And, you know, that's something that we spent a lot of time, a lot of lessons learned in the first year, where we weren't managing our OPEX. And that's key to every business, right? Manage your OPEX, cutting things out that don't need to be there. But as you start scaling up, and if you can manage that, then that's how you win. That's every business. That's not just us. That's, you know, Walmart. That's Target. That's every business. But going back to Amazon, and I think this is kind of like the same thing what you experience in Bloomingdale's. You know, I mean, yeah, if you were in Bloomingdale's, you kind of can align on branding and you know, your company, what it stands for. But for me, your brand has to stand up above the retailer. Your brand has to stand up above Amazon. And just as long as you do that, you're fine, right?
Right. Right.
If you're Nike, you're selling on Amazon, you're still Nike. It's not.
There you go.
Right?
Right. There you go. Magic words, but then that takes the brand building.
That's the hard part. That's not the easy part. That's the part that's like, I mean,
so
I feel like I'm not there yet.
So I'm having dinner with a big shot in the shoe business. Okay. I mean, this guy is massive. He sells sneakers, but he's in the shoe business. So I'm having dinner with him, and he's like, we're having this chat, two businessmen. And I said to him, I said, why don't you build your own brand? I mean, you're like, all you do is you do private label for other people. Why don't you build your own brand? He goes, I tried. I failed.
It's hard.
I can't build. I am one of the biggest sneaker makers in the city, and I cannot build a brand. Think about what I just said.
Yeah.
Huge infrastructure. Massive. Can't build a brand for shit. Cannot build a brand. It's not for everyone. Building a brand is hard.
Very hard.
Very hard.
But if you did do it, then everything becomes easy, right? I mean, and then it starts falling in place. So that should be your goal.
Back to your romancing the customer, Paul.
Yeah, it goes back to that. It goes back to, you know, having the good proposition value, having a good product, which, you know, we really believe in our product. We just now have to get that branding and the focus. Right. And a lot of these small businesses like us, that's what we do. And honestly, we outpace bigger companies. So in the beauty space, especially in the supplement space, especially, there's these big companies, right? You know, like Nature's Made, there's, you know, L'Oreal, there's all these big companies that...
Well, they're not nimble anymore.
They're not nimble like us. And that's the one thing, when you do launch a business, that's what you need to focus on. Like, hey, we can pivot pretty quickly. We can pump it out. We can change something really quickly. We can, you know, change packaging, change whatever very, very quickly. And that's when you start scaling. That's when you start winning, because you can do that. And that's what big companies want to buy you up afterward.
Correct. But, you know, I want to say something very important. For everyone who's running a business or trying to run a business, there is no right way. And you got that message the other day. There is no right way of doing anything. It's the best way at the moment that applies to all the variables of your life and business. You got to execute as best as you can at that moment to get you to the next build-up phase, right? Your whole life is about these micro steps, people. It's micro steps. It's great that Shark Tank came to you. Imagine if Shark Tank didn't come to you. That wasn't going to stop you.
No. Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't, and it doesn't. That's I think that's, and it goes back to what happened last summer. When you start blowing up, you lose sight of those micro steps. You're like, I need to take this gigantic step, and when you start focusing on that, that's when you fall, because you're not focusing on what really matters. And I think that's kind of like where we're at right now. We have this big opportunity, but we're nervous about it. I'm like not sleeping, and I'm like freaking out. But at the same time, I'm reminding myself, hey, it's just that one customer that I have to take care of. And as long as I focus on that, whatever happens, it'll actually come into play and come nicely together. And that's actually what we learned in May when we went viral. I mean, we were just freaking out when we went viral, and we're just like, hey, all of our inventory that should have lasted us 3 months is gone in like 4 days. And we're like, what the hell happened, you know? But going back to that, like what you said, those micro decisions, focusing on that one customer, and just doing those incremental things that you know will move the business is how you keep that momentum when it comes, especially those big opportunities.
Listen, I mean, you have kids?
I do.
So you've seen, you never see them grow.
No.
If I met you this year and I see you again 2 years from now, for me, it's going to be a shocker to watch your kid. Oh my God, look at him. You know, he's so grown. But what is he doing every single day?
Yeah, he's growing. Yeah.
Little bit, right?
Yeah. I think you made a point. That was one of your tweets too. Like you have to, you know, it's consistency, right? It's consistency.
Consistency. I will take consistency over a home run any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's when you scale.
You know what? Like I'm telling you, I have kids who are in the business with me here. And I every time I go back and I say, pause for a second. You remember what we did this time last year? Do you realize what we did this time this year? Do you understand the steps? Like they're so micro, right? They're so micro, but those micro steps at the end of the day, and I love watching ants dig a hole. Yeah. I love watching ants dig a hole.
Yeah.
They can only carry one pebble at a time.
But they do it. They do it. There's this big mountain, you know?
You went to sleep, you woke up as a mountain. What happened?
Yeah.
It's still one pebble at a time. Like for me, that mentality of the focus on the pebble, get it from here, take it there, get that task done. Start the task again, get it done. I have this mentality, you know, a horse race, right? You got to start, you got to go through the thing, and you cross the finish line.
Yeah.
If you do a task and you don't cross the finish line, you never did it in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I think it's like, what's that Will Smith saying, that you lay a brick down as neatly and as best you can, and then you lay the next one, and pretty soon you have a gigantic wall, right?
Entrepreneurs think it's always a home run. It's not. It's not. It's not. My dad spent 50 years in one field doing one thing, and you know when it took off? 40 years later.
Yeah. No, it's true.
39 years it was struggling, you know?
Yeah. And from my experience, those home runs actually hurt you, because you stop focusing on what you really need to do. You're like, oh my God, I went viral. You know, like, hey, this is great. Like, I'm going to last forever. And you're like,
no, it's not.
Oh, crap. They went back down. You're like, what happened? And then, because you lost focus, right? So it's really literally those micro steps. It's those little things that you do in business to keep, you know, keep it growing at a steady pace.
You know, yes, those micro steps, those habits, those executions, the never, like, whatever your agenda is, you know, I say my thinking always has been, do a lot per day, continue moving forward. You are not going to notice the changes that are happening, but there's a lot of changes that are happening. There
are. Exactly.
A lot of changes are happening. You just don't see it. You know, I called my son the other day, and this is a true thing. I said, his name is Andre. I'm like, Andre, what happens when you take a seed and you plant it in the soil? You put water into it. You give it some sun. What happens? Nothing. You wait the second day. What happens? Nothing. What happens the third day? Nothing. Nothing. And then what happens? This little thing pops out, right?
Yeah.
It starts, but for a whole week, nothing happened.
Yep. That's exactly business. You know, I don't know how many people here are starting out in business, but I mean, you just got to keep watering it. You got to keep going. And I mean, I know this cliche, and I know like a lot of times when I would like, entertain like, discussions like this, I'm like, what's the secret? What's the secret? Like literally stepping back where we are now, where I'm at now, like literally that's the secret. It's taking action, because you can learn all the different things of like Amazon, how to create a listing, how to create ads, you can learn all that. That's like the easy part. The hard part is stepping back and seeing all this for what it is.
Correct. Look at, there's no way, the philosophy of exerting energy every single day is so important, because it's like a plane. If the plane doesn't push to exert energy to go forward, it's going to go down or it's going to go up. Business never stays consistent. So either you are losing sight of it and it's doing this, or you're pushing and it's doing that. But it's never this, never.
No.
It's either going down or going up. And everything that's happening is your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it totally is.
Everything is happening is your fault.
It is. But that's why you did it, because you wanted it to be your fault. That's why you became an entrepreneur. And that's why you're not working for another person. And that's one thing that I will say, I love my job, but working for another person is not the same as working for yourself, because when you're working for yourself, those decisions you make are when they win, it's great. When they lose,
I call them consequential decisions.
Yeah.
So you make decisions very differently.
You have to, because this is what you're eating.
That's right.
You eat or you don't eat. That's kind of what it is.
And the fact that you don't, and the fact that your customer now is cutting your check.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have a corporation that you clocked in your hours.
Yeah.
Every day you got to go hunting. Every single day it's a hunt, people. You got to go a hunt admit it, right? It's every day is a hunt.
It is.
You don't eat tomorrow if you don't get the hunt today.
It is. It is. And then as you scale up higher, the hunt gets bigger and more dangerous. And that's what it is. In the beginning, we were probably hunting like little rabbits and like, oh, it's cool. Now it's like a big, gigantic elephant that could like trample you and destroy your, like run over you, the stampede or whatever.
Competition is more fierce.
Yeah.
Your adversary is stronger than you are.
It is.
The more attention you get, the bigger boys want to crush you.
Exactly.
First of all, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't know what you're dealing with. When a company has like 15, 20 years of experience and they see you coming, you think they're going to be like sitting down and doing nothing to you? They don't want you around, people. They just don't.
They don't.
They don't want you around. So what are they going to do? They're going to find every way to crush you. Every way. So
exactly.
But be careful what you ask for.
That being said, where you're at right now, and I think you're only at where you are because you're ready. And I think that's very important. And there's a quote that I keep saying to myself: all my failures have prepared me for the weight of the success that I'm experiencing now.
Correct.
And only handle all the success because of everything I failed to do in the past. And that's very crucial, because you're not going to be able to handle it any other way. There's no other way for you to learn what it takes to be where you are right now. Whether, I scale to 7 figures, I'm pretty sure there's people that scaled even higher that have to be way stronger than me. And I know I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to experience that kind of success. And I think that's very crucial. So wherever you're at in your business, you have to be ready, and you only are ready after you've gone through, trial of fire, what they call trial of fire, right? You're stronger now. If I lose, 10,000, I'm I'm okay. If I lose 20,000, I'm okay. It sucks. I don't want to do that.
You can't lose 300.
You can't lose 300. I'm not there yet. And there's some
which is why I call it micro steps, right?
Yeah.
That's why I call it the micro steps.
Exactly. And there's companies that, the guy makes one wrong move, like for example, Delta, they lost millions. Like for me, as a small business, if I lost millions, I'd be like,
you're done.
I don't know what to do. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. And so that is really important wherever you're at right now, really. And that's another thing with the failure whole piece, what I say, your success is on the stack of failures. Those failures make you ready for that success, right? Everything you've done wrong, everything you've done. Okay, I've seen it before, so it's very important. You're strong now because of all your failures, and you're ready, you can handle the success, because success is, success is not easy. It's really hard. It's really hard.
To put it in perspective for you, I could easily, 2022, I'm intending to go international, right? I could easily go open a 3PL in UK, Netherlands, Middle East, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. Easily I can do it. What am I going to do next year? One.
Yeah.
UK.
Nice.
Let me get the taste of it. Let me make sure that I can get the custom. Let me figure this out.
We'll let you fail a little bit in what you got to set up,
right?
Like whether the candles get there on time, logistics. I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, it's even harder now for everyone. Is the shipping times, the lead time. It's a mess, right? It's a total mess. There's shipping docks, like some of our inventory, you know, in like a component of our beauty pops, like it's on back order. It's stuck at the ports. So fill all those. And then once you learn, then you can launch into other ones because you're ready. You know what it takes. You know.
Well, I ran out of pine eucalyptus, which is the number one thing I can do.
Yeah.
I ran out of 5 different fragrances that are my number one.
Oh my gosh.
I have a prepayment. Listen to this. I have a prepayment to my factory here locally. Wow. They can't get the raw component to fill my order. So what do I do? So you have to be able to say, it's okay. So now this time I'm planning. So because okay, so you figure out a way is my answer.
Yes.
You figure out what to do about it, right?
Yeah.
You figure out to go heavy on inventory or do. So listen, somebody says, I wanted to order the pine today. I don't have it. I can't get it, people. I cannot get it. I had a call from Miami today. The guy was so upset at me, and because he loves certain fragrance, my gardenia. He has like the top. He sells to more people who are like multi-home wealthy, and they want it. And when they want something, it's like they scream. You know how it is. Like you know that category, they scream. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I can't get it. I can't get it. I can't get it. So hey, Charlie, I'm going to see Charlie tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's going. By the way, Charlie, he's on Shark Tank. Paul just got on Shark Tank. Is airing November 19th. You got to watch him on November 19th. The beauty product.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, so that's so dealing with the logistics is absolutely, taking the micro steps is absolutely key. And when you're building that business, you know, those little steps for me, it's like give, and take the little steps. Just keep a steady, like keep ticking. You know, there's a reason why in the Chinese culture they show you what water can do to granite, right? First day, nothing. 10 years, what it is. Look at the comparisons, right? 30 years, there's a hole in that granite. Why?
Exactly.
Why is that? Consistency. You gotta have consistency.
And it's to your point where, you know, once again, as you see this more and you get stronger, when you ran out of that scent, it's okay. You know, but the first time when you're not ready for that, you're like, oh my God, my business is gonna like just blow up and I'm gonna be homeless on the street. But at this point now you're like, okay, cool, we've seen this before. Right. Maybe, you know, going to Q3, Q4, I order a little bit more and then you pivot. And that's what one of my, actually I have some phrases too. My main phrase that I always tell everybody is dream big and pivot. So it's both. It's the big dream that you need to focus on, and it's the pivot to get there, right? And so, and you can use that in your text. I want to see that in one of your texts.
You're gonna know.
Yeah,
you're gonna know.
You know that's from me. But no, at this point, like in your business, you're like, okay, cool. I ran out of pine. Okay, cool. I know what to do next. I'll play next year, and you're fine with that. But you didn't get that strength. You didn't get that calmness, and that, you know, ability to be like, okay, this is okay, without getting that strength from all the different failures, right? So at this point, you're like, okay, cool. It's okay. My business is not going to end, and I just got to pivot. Maybe I got to, you know, create a new scent, or maybe I got to do something else, right? And that's
or talk to the customer.
Or talk to the customer. Yeah.
Talk. Exactly. Just understand what they want. And you know, the customer says, I want this because that's what they know. They don't know you have 18 other fragrances that might be good for them. They just don't know. So talk to them. Have that. And then, you know what? Look, there's something that I have, like, in this office, they think I'm a nut, and I'm going to tell you why. You're always going to get an irate customer. We agree?
Yes. Yes.
Inevitable. Who is your biggest advocate in the world? The person who was hating you that you took care of,
Yeah.
like kid gloves.
Yeah.
That person is your biggest advocate. Treat the person who's pissed off at you to make sure you turn them around, because they are the best advocate for you. The best.
Exactly. I agree.
The best.
Yep.
By the way, just so you know, as much as you see what's behind me, 3 years ago before that, I was one of the bigger suppliers to TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, and all that, right?
Oh wow.
Because that was my thing. But I never liked it because I never could build a brand, because you can't build a brand there. I was just a commodity, and it was a fight to the bottom, right? And I knew, because I built a whole logistical team behind that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can't build a brand that way. So what do? I remember 3 years ago, November. This is 3 years old behind me. November 11th, I pulled the plug on everyone.
What?
Meaning, in one day, Paul,
wow.
We're talking millions of dollars, not just few hundred, millions of dollars, container loads of stuff. I had a factory in Vietnam. I have staff in Shenzhen. I have everything going on in one day. I'm like, talk about pivot, okay?
Jeez, that's a ballsy pivot. Wow.
Yeah, literally, I had 3 designers, 9 people for logistics in here, and in one day, I'm like, I cannot build a brand because these big box stores don't understand the value of what you're doing. And if that's my customer, I am not the right supplier for them, right? I understand it's not their fault. It's not their fault that that's what they want. They look at this thing, they say, how big is it? What is it? What is it? It's just, come on, it doesn't matter what it says on here. We don't care how beautiful you make it. We don't care anything. Size, value, this is it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm making a chinchilla candle, people.
Oh, wow.
Nice. $3,000 chinchilla candle. That's right.
Wow.
Okay. Hold on. Look at this work. Look at the work on this. And I'm showing you just so you understand the level of detail. Like, this thing's perfectly laid out. This is like layers and layers of wood. But that's what I like to do. So my customer feels that from inside of me when I talk about it, which is why your wife is super successful, because she obviously believes that when she puts it on, there's something, she talks with conviction.
Yeah, it does.
There's no way she has no, I haven't seen her once yet. Like, I really haven't paid attention. I just saw it, but I guarantee you she's got a level of conviction. No one can come on and knock her.
No. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what we spent a lot of time refocusing on, because when we first launched on Amazon, we were just focused on sales, race to the bottom, TJ Maxx, bargain, right? And it wasn't until we pivoted to this, and grant you, I'm in a lot of Amazon groups. I know a lot of different groups and people who are selling on Amazon. I was like, hey, look, guys, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but I'm going to build a brand, and I'm going to really get my voice out there. Yeah. And they all were like, that's crazy. They didn't, none of them did it. They're like, well, no, we're good here. We're making good sales, and then some of them were crushing it way more than me. They were just making 7, 8 figures. They're like, yeah, no, we can do that, But we went this way, and it's paying off for us. And I think even if it didn't, it's the right thing to do for our heart, right?
Yeah, but it's sweeter to you. That's what it is. It's sweeter to you.
It's sweeter to you. It makes my life more meaningful. We're all going to the same place, right? We only have so much time, and what you leave on this earth that's your legacy.
And you have kids.
And I have kids, right? So I'm proud of what we've created. Hopefully when you guys watch the show, you'll see what we created.
But don't spoil them, please.
Yeah. No, you'll see, I hope one thing you'll see is tons of emotion. I think that's what it is. We've put a lot of heart and tears and love into this business. And actually, I'll give you guys, something about our business. So Loveandpebble stands for Linda and Paul. So it really is our brand, and as cheesy as it sounds, that's kind of that's what we set it up to, and the whole idea behind the business is it's about penguins. So I don't know if you know about penguins, but they go around and they search for little pebbles, and then they give it to their mate, and then if
for life.
They mate for life, and that's kind of where it's. So this is actually my pebble to her. So we started this, this is for our future. This is more than money for me. This is like, is really just is for us as a couple. And so like I said, I hope it goes out into the world on the 19th and people see that. That's what I hope, that people understand, that this business is not just to make money. This is business. It is making money, but this business is something more than that, right?
Okay, an hour and a half into it, this is the most important part, by the way. We got it out of you.
Yeah, no.
An hour and a half into it, the spirit came.
Yeah, and it's what drives you, and I think that in the business, you have to have something that drives you, right? Because it's really hard. It's really tiring. There's a lot of times where you don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know if you want to stay the course.
Right.
But, like, that's kind of where we're at. We're committed to this. I'm committed to this.
Well, that's what's going to carry you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The meaning behind all this is what's going to carry you. The legacy, the proving something to your wife, showing the kids that you did all these other things, and here is a situation where you finally were in a position to then create this thing so that it could be handed in some form, be it an exit and there's cash, or they can have it and run it, whatever the situation is. But you're kind of like now at a point where there's real meaning, not a financial. Because if you chase the money at the end of the day, you're never going to make it. And you know that because you've experienced it.
Yeah,
you can't chase the money.
You can't. But the funny
reason.
Well, the funny is once you stop chasing the money comes to you.
And touche for that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you're like, hey, I need to do what's right for our brand. I want to do what's right for our company to the customer. It really just comes to you. And it comes to you tenfold than you ever could have gotten.
But you get a level of, what happens is you get a euphoria every single day because you're treating your company right.
Exactly.
And then you're treating your customer right.
Exactly.
And that train that you're creating, the customers jump on your path.
Exactly. That's what happens. They willingly do. And it's a beautiful thing, because then you have a community. And yeah, that's kind of where, we're really experienced that. We love every single customer. You should see all the reviews. So
everything that, like you said, everything that happens to me happens to you, to people like us. When we are at that point, they know, the customers know.
Yeah.
They know that you're 100% vested into the company, not the dollars. Exactly. Because when a customer calls you and says, I have a problem, you have no qualms about refunding. You have no qualms about replacing. You have no qualms about, you don't give a shit about the money for a second. You don't care. You care about the feeling of that customer.
Exactly. And that's it.
They know.
Yeah, exactly.
Customers call me up how many times? I have a policy. No return, no refund. They call me up, whatever you want. I get yelled at from my own staff. I don't care what you guys think. My customer is my customer. They want something. If I got to stand on my head and make it happen for them, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm doing it. Because at the end of the day, what do we have? We have the customer. We have a brand. But you see, the brand is a community of people. It's a community of people. That's what a brand is. The brand in itself, you can throw it away. It means nothing. But it's the community of people that the brand sits on.
Exactly. And honestly, it is. It's that bottle right there is representative of the community that I built. Like, if you look at the bottle, it's not different from anyone else. The reason why people are buying is the community that I built behind that bottle. The same thing with your products as well, right?
100%, which is why I call it, you got to fall in love with your customer. You got to treat them like every single person is your lifelong mate. Your customer has to be your lifelong mate.
Exactly. And that's, once again, it goes back to that first video I saw. I was like, man, this is like life-changing for me. I have to do this.
Yep.
How can I be more attractive to my customer? That's all I kept saying. Like, we got to be attractive. And the best way for us to be attractive in a beauty brand is not to put me out there, is I put my wife out there and I was like hounding her. I was like, you need to get on TikTok. You need to get on TikTok. You need to get on TikTok. As soon as she got on TikTok, it went boom. It went crazy. So
we'll it's been I got to get going home because I'm in the office still.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Take away from all this, people. We love all you guys. That's number one. That's all I say. I always end my videos, as you know. I say I love you guys because I do.
Yeah, Phil, I mean, honestly, in all sincerity, I know I'm going to be busy in the next couple weeks until we air, but DM me, like anytime you guys, Dose of Remedy, I monitor that. I don't have a social team. I monitor that, and I will get you right on Amazon.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say, because I did ask, but it's kind of you to say it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cool. All right. Well, lots of luck. Whatever happens after you air, I hope you blow up in a good way that carries you for many years forward.
It will. Either way, it's going to be good. So.
All right. And by the way, before I go, because somebody asked me, the number is for the text messaging. The number you use is 81010. It's 81010. And the message you have to write inside is @T-Ferrier. T-F-E-R-R-I-E-R. That's it. The number 81010, T-Ferrier. All right, guys. Thanks, Paul.
All right, guys.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Later.